Thank you for joining the City of Kingston Heritage Area Commission and the Historic Landmark Preservation Commission for a joint monthly meeting of each respective commission. Today is Thursday, October 7th, 2021. My name is Suzanne Cahill. I am the Planning Director for the City of Kingston and the organizer for our virtual meeting. Before we begin the meeting, we would like to go over a few meeting guidelines to help navigate the system as efficiently and respectfully as possible. We ask that members of the public and the press remain muted and off camera for the length of the meeting. As the organizer, I reserve the right to mute anyone who unmutes themselves. Commission members and city staff will control their own mute button. Good practice would be to mute yourself if you are not speaking to avoid background noise and feedback. If a commissioner or staff wishes to speak, they will raise their hand. As the organizer, I will call on them before they speak by stating their name clearly for our audio listeners and transcript recording. All of our meetings are recorded. Both video and written transcriptions will be made available to the public on the city website at a later date. Also note that this meeting is being live streamed on the city's YouTube channel. In lieu of public speaking during the monthly meeting, we had requested all comment to be received by 2 p.m. on Tuesday, October 5th, 2021. Comments could have been emailed to skhill@kingston-ny.gov, hand-delivered, placed in regular mail, or in the drop box at City Hall. No comments have been received. All meeting materials, applications, supporting documentation may be found on the city website by going to www.kingston-ny.gov. Once on the homepage, scroll down to the bottom under meetings where you see the joint meeting posted. Click on an appropriate link for the meeting agenda and materials. If at any time you have an audio issue, please send a text message to the following number, 845-443-0416. I will repeat the number again, but be aware that phone calls will not be answered during the meeting. The number again to text is 845-443-0416. As the organizer for today's meeting, I reserve the right to lock and pause the meeting to eject anyone who has behaved inappropriately or to enter into attorney-client conference if needed. On behalf of the commissions, I wish to thank everyone for your continued patience during this unique time and wish you and your family good health. I will now call the meeting to order at 6:36 p.m. and I turn the floor over to Chairman Hayes Clement of the Heritage Area, who will be followed by Chairman Mark Grumblatt of the Historic Landmarks Preservation Commission. Hayes, you're on.
Thank you, Sue. I'm Hayes Clement. I'm the chairman of the Heritage Area Commission and a member of the Historic Landmarks Preservation Commission. Speaking for the Heritage Area Commission, I don't think we have a quorum, Sue. I only see 3 of us.
Not at this point, no. We're waiting for Dean or Abigail.
So I will defer. I'll turn it over to Mark Grunblatt until we get a quorum.
Good evening, all. My name is Mark Grunblatt. I chair Historic Landmark Preservation Commission. And so we'll start right in. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes of our September 16 meeting? All right, then I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes as submitted. Thank you, Hayes. Do I have a second?
Andrea Pugh, second.
Thank you, Andrea. I'll call the roll. Andrea?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Hayes?
Aye.
I also vote in the affirmative. Are we expecting Richard tonight, Sue?
Robert, no. Robert,
sorry.
That's okay. Robert is excused this evening.
All right. So let's continue with the, I think we'll go right on to 95 John Street.
Yes.
Okay. Hi. You must be, if you would unmute yourselves and tell us a little bit about your plans.
Hi, yes. I'm Dan George. And
I'm Erica Marks.
And we live at 95 John Street. And we're about to undertake removing of the rotting siding that's on the addition to the original building. And that's on the back of the house on the north side. We're replacing the siding and at the same time insulating with cellulose insulation. And the project we're hoping will take place next week if we get all the clearances from you. And I guess the big issue probably for you is what are we doing about the siding? We're replacing it with beaded boards, which are original to the original part of the building and is on much of the addition. But over the years, all of the north side has been stripped away and just plain old 8-inch boards were put on. And so we want to go back with the 11.5-inch beaded board, which is 4/4 thick. So it's going more with the original kind of siding instead of 3/4 inch. We're going with a 4/4. It's going to be select pine. It'll be primed on both sides and all cuts will be primed. And then it'll be put up and then it will be painted. And we've submitted our paint colors to you. And I think if we can go over those if you have questions.
They were approved by the state.
Yeah, we've also run this by the New York State Historic Preservation for tax credit purposes. And we have all the approvals from them. And so now we just need your input and we're ready to go.
And I guess I would add that the house itself, the front of the house, the original house was built around 1795. And the addition, they're not entirely sure, but was added on around in the around 1850s at some point, used for all manner of things, including a printing shop, print shop at one point.
And it is the oldest extant wood frame house in Kingston, so an important building.
Yeah, it's rebuilt after the burning of Kingston, so the foundation is older.
1795.
Right.
Yeah. I guess I don't have anything else.
That's it.
All right. Do any commission members have questions for the applicant? Hayes?
Hayes,
Oh, you need to
unmute.
unmute.
Sorry. On page 7 of the application, you've got, it looks like a sample of the clapboard around one of the windows that shows the green. It's probably just the photo reproduction, but it looks like
Is
so
a photograph?
yeah, that photograph. So it looks the clapboard looks black, but that's really green.
Yeah, that's awful.
Oh, that didn't come through at all. That's completely wrong.
And the trim looks pink, but that's actually
No.
No, it's a gray. We submitted the color.
Do you have the photo?
There it is.
Where?
Yeah.
So here are the colors here.
Do you have the photo? We could screen share. You don't have it on your computer.
Yeah, I do. I guess I have it here someplace.
We could try to find it on our computer and screen share it, but
just
it's
walk me through it. So the Caldwell green is actually green, and then the trim.
oh, that's horrifying that that's how that came through.
Yeah, the trim is actually it's a gray. It's
Okay.
Do you have a sample of it? Let's see.
We'll find one.
That does not give you
Yeah.
at all.
How do I get to that?
What are you looking for?
I'll get to the
See if we got a sample of this.
I could
the
show it.
folder.
The way that I just filed,
Oh yeah.
the actual with the
Yeah, you could-
swatches.
you
Hold
could-
on, I'll be right.
So I think I think I found it. I can put it in the chat for you. Yeah, that you got it. Okay.
Does this help? This is just Googling Caldwell Green. You're right, it looks nothing like
Yeah,
the photo that we posted.
Yeah, this
Is that
this
more-
is actually, this is more gray than the actual green color. Let's see. We're getting a chip here. Of course,
Right, lighting
lot of-
is a trick here.
Kevin, I just gave you the ability to share too. If you have something up
Oh.
on your screen.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking up the other colors now. Trying to get to them. If you
Where's
want, I
the-
can just put
where's
them
the
in the
original?
chat so we don't have too many hosts. That could get scary.
Okay.
real fast.
if you get back to the folder, that works.
Let me see.
What folder?
Hold on. No.
What folder that you were at?
Okay. So we have the Caldwell Green, a bone black, and a mopboard black.
Well,
Yes.
what's the number of the bone?
Here, this folder?
Yeah. Mhm.
CW one.
We're pulling it up here.
You have the bone black? Okay, because I'm having difficulty at Benjamin Moore. I'm getting.
Let's see if this, I'm calling up a Photoshop of that photograph. Let's see if that's, okay.
Yeah, maybe
Got it.
accurate, but we can screen share.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
Could we do a screen share?
Yes, I already
Of
gave
it,
you, I gave you the ability. Go ahead.
hold on, share screen.
Bone
Um,
black. Okay. That's actually more of a gray, isn't it?
yes, it's a gray. They
Okay.
call it bone black.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like a medium gray.
Yeah. Here you go. One more here. Mopboard black.
oh. Well, it won't let me share it. Oh, God, that's so annoying.
Just pull it over to
Because
the
it's in-
screen. Can you?
I put it in the
It's on
chat. if you need-
Photoshop. It won't let me share Photoshop.
I have a link for everybody in the chat if you want to go.
Right, if everybody wants to look at the links in the chat, Andrea just put one in too.
You got the other one, the mopboard? You beat me
Yep,
to it.
Andrea's got it.
Good.
So you can click on the links in the chat, everybody, and check the colors.
Folder. Can I go to this folder? It's on the-
Very, very,
Yeah,
Oh,
it's more of a black.
so
Okay.
bone
Okay.
black isn't black at all.
Back again and look at the
Minimizing this.
picture.
Okay,
Okay.
here.
Okay, so
Yeah. It's this one.
bone black is really not black at all. It's more
yeah, it's
gray.
very gray.
Got it. This makes more.
Yeah.
There's the,
I'll
green.
send you one preview. Go back to
Mhm.
the photograph.
Go back to
Yeah.
the photograph.
Yeah, the desktop.
This is what they're sharing here. So they're getting a sense of what it looks like here.
Yeah, it's
Okay. Yeah, that makes more sense.
we can actually show them here, but it's in a bad color. Okay, let me just slide the photograph down here.
Do any other commission members have questions about the project?
Put it on the desktop, put it up there on the desktop. It's the same difference. Okay.
Okay.
All right. No, 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 careful. Okay, now I'll try to. All right, let me try to share this again. The desktop. All right.
Mhm.
no?
Seem to share it. I can't put the photo in the chat. Let me try that. Let's see, where's the this is annoying. I have it on.
Yeah,
Where is
it's on here someplace. Sorry.
Where is it?
No, it's-
Here?
Screenshot. No, that isn't it.
Here?
Let's see it. Just go in here.
Images? Here it is. Here it is. Here it is.
Okay.
Let's try that. Can I move it in here?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh. I don't know why I can't
Okay, well, I
seem to
think,
do it. I'm wondering if I could I try to email it to someone?
Let me
have a couple of-
poll the members. I think I've gotten a sense of the true hues, and between that and the photograph with the false colors, does anyone have any questions on where each color is going to be used? Yeah, I think we can project that ourselves. Thank you. I think you should stop struggling. As someone who struggles with computers myself, I feel for you.
I can usually do it. I just can't seem to get the Zoom to just allow our JPEG. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's hard to know what the issue is. Sometimes it's a file size issue. Sometimes it's a matter of incompatibility that no one but the actual computer can tell you. So thank you for the effort. And thank you to Andrea and Kevin for calling up the colors from the Benjamin Moore site. Does anyone have questions on any other points for our applicants? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to declare this a type 2 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act.
Andrea Pugh, so moved.
So moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Kevin. I'll call the roll. Andrea?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Hayes?
Aye.
I also vote aye. And I will move that the commission find as fact that the proposed paint, siding, insulation, and pointing of the chimney of the structure located at 95 St. James Street in the Stockade Historic District by applicants owners Daniel George and Erica Marks, if done according to the plans reviewed at this meeting and according to the procedures stipulated in section 405-64 of Kingston's Administrative Code, is compatible with the historic character of the district for the following reasons. The structure is a 2-story, 5-bay, wood-framed and sided colonial built in 1795 and known as the Kierstead House. It's the oldest framed home in the Stockade Historic District. The exterior paint will be Benjamin Moore historic colors, with the body of the house being Benjamin Moore Caldwell Green, number HC124, trim being Benjamin Moore Bone Black, number CW715, and the shutters Benjamin Moore Mopboard Black, CW680. Wood siding on the rear addition of the house will be replaced with 11.5-inch wide pine siding where needed. New insulation and pointing of the rear chimney will be completed. That this work will cause a material change to the external appearance of the property, that the exterior paint will not detract from the character of the historic district, that any changes or additions to the plans and or work specifically described and outlined in the application would be subject to further review by our commission prior to that work being carried out, and that this commission's approval does not obviate the need for a building permit from the City of Kingston's Building Safety Division or any other required approvals from relevant coordinating agencies. Based on the preceding findings of fact, I move that on the 7th day of October 2021, our commission grant a preservation notice of action to the applicant for the work as described herein and in their application to the commission, such notice to be subject to the conditions in the foregoing motion. Do I have a second?
Mark, Dan? Yeah.
Just the one correction, we had a typo in there. It's 95 John Street,
Yep.
not 95
Oh.
James. That's our error.
And there's a
Oops,
second-
I
there's
should have
another-
caught that as it went by. Thank you. I
second
stand
correction.
corrected. Yes,
That was
any
my
other
comment.
questions?
No, that was my comment. That's why, that was my comment.
Correction.
4/4 instead of 1.5 inches. The siding will be 4/4.
It's 11 and a half inches wide, 4/4 thick.
Right.
Okay. We can include that specification
Mhm.
as well, please, Sue.
Yep.
All right, I accept both amendments. Do I have a second to the motion as amended?
Second?
Thank you, Kevin. I'll call the roll. Andrea,
Aye.
Kevin,
Aye.
Hayes.
Aye.
I also vote in the affirmative. I think that's it for you.
Thank you very much for your help. And if anyone wants to take an actual look at
Right.
the actual colors, they can just look at the back of our house. One of the windows there is the sample that we.
I know,
painted.
please come by because you'll like it. Yeah,
It's not
wonderful.
pink.
Not pink, Hayes.
Yeah, and we promise not to shoot anyone in the backyard.
No.
That's a kindness. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Hayes, Dean is here now.
Dean, are you visible? Can you turn your thing on, video? Dean, are you there?
He is muted. Dean? Dean, can you unmute yourself?
Here, I've driven him away.
I don't know. I just sent him a note to unmute. Okay, well,
So why don't you proceed, Mark, and then we'll come back once Dean is up.
All right. Okay. Next on the agenda is 135 Green Street. I see Jed is here. If you would turn on and unmute. Welcome
there.
back.
Thank you.
And if you would describe your project to the commission.
Okay. So basically, just returned recently to the house, getting a lot of work done on it. Was actually, I guess, Sue stood in my stead last meeting to approve the historical marker that we're getting installed in a few months. Right next to that are two other things that we would like to get permission for. One is for a wooden garbage enclosure for our recycling bins, and the other one is a rain barrel. Instead of having a awkwardly diagonal downspout. So yeah, two features on the front of the house. Oh, okay. Oh, you can share this? Good, good. I was seeing if I could do this on Zoom. I don't need to do that. Let me leave that on my computer. Sorry, 1 second. Oop, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. So basically, I'm sorry, if I just get your attention, this piece of stone here on the left-hand side of that picture, that's where the historical marker will go, for reference, just so you guys know. We found that piece of stone in the backyard 4 years ago, brought it out to the front of the house and finally installed it. And so when the sign is received from Catskill Castings in 2 months, that is where we will put it, just so you have some reference there.
great.
Next, yes, so I'm sorry, this sketch that I have is not entirely to scale in many ways. First of all, the little box that I've drawn there is the right dimensions, but it is too short. Basically, what I would like to do is create an enclosure that will hide the three bins in front of our house, the paper bin, the glass and metal bin, and the garbage bin. Because, you know, when you look at the house, it almost looks the same as it did so many years ago, except when you see, you know, bright orange lids on bright blue bins. I feel like it kind of detracts from the appearance of the house. So the idea is to hide that in a garbage enclosure. Now, why wouldn't I just put those bins on the side of my house? Well, the reason is because I don't own the side of my house. When they chopped up this property, however many years ago, they decided to cut the property line to 3.5 feet from the wall. So I don't even own my entire staircase that goes behind my house. So I can't just put the bins inside of my house. There's no room there because we have 2 staircases on both sides that we can't block. So we have to put the bins in front of the house. And as long as we're going to do that, we would like to kind of hide them. And so the idea is to build a cedar, probably cedar, garbage enclosure to hide those bins. You know, it opens from the top, so we can put garbage in, and then when it's garbage day, it opens from the front. You know, you can see the sketches below. And you just pull the bins out and leave them on the street. Another alternative that we are considering for the side of this enclosure is to use pine, which we actually milled from trees behind our house at the end of 2016. We had 4 trees taken down, really old trees from the back of our house, and we actually milled that wood, had it sit in the field in Albany for 3 years, and brought it back into the house. And so we're actually using that to do hardwood floors. Today I actually built some shelves with it. And we're basically, you know, trying to, you know, as much as possible, you know, continue the life of those trees within the house. And so another idea is to use, as long as we can treat it, you know, appropriately, to make sure that it stays, you know, the problem with outdoor structures, pine is not the best wood to use, obviously, especially for something that's going to be sitting on the ground. But yeah, we could use that pine to side it. So it does, you know, have some history with the house, and it also doesn't just look like some sort of, you know, Home Depot, you know, pressure treated wood enclosure. Unfortunately, the enclosure that you see at the bottom is made by a company called Barracuda, based in New England somewhere. And that was the enclosure we were planning on using for this. But the problem is that they discontinued it 3 months ago, which is unfortunate. So we will have to build the enclosure ourselves, which is fine. I will probably use the services of J. Daniel Gilhooly, who is currently building the porch on the back of our house. He has built staircases out of this pine wood that we had milled from the back trees of our house. And so he's, you know, definitely has an eye for historical things. And he will probably help me assemble this with the wood that we have. Sorry,
and you would plan to use much the same design as we're seeing here. Am I following?
It'll be very similar. It'll probably have 2 doors instead of 3. But yeah, it'll open from the top and then 2 doors opening from the front. It's a very basic design. It's really not a difficult thing. I imagine the frame itself will be pressure treated, but you won't see any of that. They'll be on the inside. The outside will be either cedar or, like I said, the pine that we have. And then the lid, we will probably, if we paint it, we'll probably paint it actually the same mopboard black that Dan and Erica were talking about. It's the same color as our shutters on our house. I'm sorry, the house, just to give you context, this is 135 Green Street. This is right across the street from Dan and Erica. It is called the Colonel Abraham Hesburgh House. Yes, so that is the spiel for the enclosure.
All right, so the mopboard black would be all the way around, solid color.
I think possibly just the lid, and leave the wood, especially if we're using the pine from the back of the house, leave that and just, you know, kind of stain it to preserve it. But leave that more or less natural on the sides. But definitely, I think the idea is that we would paint or treat the lid somehow. The palette that we're using for the house is really only 3 colors. You can see 2 of them here. One is the mopboard black. This is actually, it's funny because the frame of my windows looks pink again in this picture. Maybe that's a recurring theme here. It is not pink, it is white. And yeah, those shutters are mopboard black. The only other feature we have on the house in terms of colors is historical, what is it called? Oh man, I think it actually is maybe even called historical red or something like that. It's the color of our doors, which you can't see in this picture. That is a little bit too fire truck for garbage enclosure. The idea is to not draw attention to it. So whatever is the most subtle thing we could do to, you know, blend this into the house is what we would do. So it would either be mopboard black, white, or just something that treats the wood to expose the natural color, but you know, prevent it from rotting.
So a gray stain is what is coming to mind from your description. Sort of gray it out.
Yeah, exactly. And when I say this mopboard black, as we discussed, is a dark gray. It's a charcoal. Really, is how I describe that color. So if we did use a color, it would probably be that. But I am leaning towards, to the extent possible, exposing the original wood, as long as it does blend with the house.
Okay, so if you're just using the original wood, it is likely to gray over time. Is
Yes.
that okay? All right. So we'll presume here on that it's natural wood going to gray on the front faces, and on the sides, the top would be mopboard black. Am I following?
That is correct. Yes.
Okay. Does anyone else have questions about this or the rain barrel?
The rain barrel.
I haven't discussed the rain barrel. Should I just give a quick spiel on that?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
So basically, our house is Kingston's first duplex. It is a very long house. It was extended, and actually, where that theoretical downspout is in green. I'm sorry, the sketch is junior varsity, but yeah, I'm not an artist. So basically, yeah, the idea is this. We have a really long box gutter. And we're having drainage issues in that box gutter, and that is leading to ice dams, which is leading to water running down the side of the house and freezing, which is not good for a stone house. And so as much as possible, we would like to mitigate, the issues of having complicated downspouts. And so what you see here is this downspout coming to the right of the door there runs, at 15 degrees or whatever it is, diagonally, and meets another downspout and then runs down into the sewer system. What we're proposing is getting rid of that kind of awkward diagonal and just having a downspout that goes straight down into a rain barrel that would hold the water and overflow if necessary, but otherwise slowly keep the water and basically slowly distribute it into the garden bed next to it. We have planted a bunch of vinca minor recently as a ground cover, and eventually we are going to put in more things like hydrangeas or other trees, basically to make that kind of a nicer space. And the idea is, since we have no water access from the front of the house, this would provide water to irrigate that landscape. So yes, the idea is, and so the bottom picture that you see there is currently installed on the corner of Pearl and Wall, I believe. It's an antique store next to the bike store, utility bike store. And this is basically the idea, is to have a downspout running into a wooden rain barrel. And the rain barrel, it would probably have a plastic lining or something in the inside, but the idea is it would just hold water and then slowly distribute it. And this is the idea, is not only the win here is, we get to irrigate our garden, and then also we get to remove this like kind of awkward and non-historical downspout. I mean, if you look at, pictures of the house, there are no downspouts. And so this is not having downspouts is not an issue, not an option. So as long as we have downspouts, just keep them, as undistracting as possible. You can see this downspout in this picture actually runs over the top of that bonnet. And that bonnet has been that way since, for a long time. We have a picture of the house from 1850, and it has that same bonnet. So that bonnet's been there for a while. But it never had this diagonal downspout running over it. So the idea is to just get rid of that.
So are you going to have a bung at the bottom of the rain barrel, or you're going to take a lid off to water? What do you think?
I think the idea is having like a soaking hose coming out of it. And just letting water pressure basically slowly irrigate the land next to it, I think is the idea. Or maybe elevate it slightly and have a spigot and have a bucket or a hose or something. I need to consult people who understand this better than I do in terms of options for drainage.
It's very creative. I commend you for coming up with an idea like this.
I'm just copying what was on basically what was on Wall and Pearl. I just like, oh, that's nice, and that would get rid of this diagonal downspout. So credit to them.
Any other questions or comments from board members?
Yeah, I've seen that on the rain barrel like this on Huguenot Street. I don't know if it's still there, but it was there.
Oh, really?
And I can't remember if it was also an Abraham Hasbrook house or if it was the Freer house. If you have to go to New Paltz to figure that one out.
If it is the Abraham Hasbrook house, that's a slam dunk. It's like grandfather, like grandson. Yeah. Exactly.
Well, yeah, there was like Gene and Abraham were the ancestors, right? I think it was Abraham, but it could be the Hugo Freer house. I'm not sure. I don't remember. But yeah, it was something that they did. Yeah, for sure. They used rain barrels just like we're back to using them now. Yeah. The other question I was going to have you was, which isn't related to this or that, but you're aware of the 1776 fire in your house?
Yes, I
Okay.
am aware of that. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm,
Right.
I'm sorry for that. I apologize on
And,
behalf of the
the
Hasbrook
other-
family for that.
Commissioners aren't aware of that. That fire burnt part of the stockade, not the British. When the British came, it was already burnt. Yeah.
Yeah,
There
it was
down there.
Abraham Hasbrook's way of getting everyone ready for the big
Yeah,
fire
for
to
the
come the
British,
next year.
yeah, exactly. Okay, well, I'm done.
All right. Any other questions, comments? All right, I'll entertain a motion to declare this a type 2 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act.
Andrea Pugh, so moved.
Thank you, Andrea. Do I have a second? Thank you, Hayes. I'll call the roll. Andrea,
Aye.
Kevin,
Aye.
Hayes.
Aye.
I also vote in the affirmative. And I move that the commissioners find as fact that the proposed installation of a wooden refuse enclosure and rain barrel in front of a multifamily structure located at 135 Green Street in the Stockade Historic District by applicant owner Jared Schmidt, if done according to the plans reviewed at this meeting and according to the procedures stipulated in section 405-64 of the City of Kingston's Administrative Code, is compatible with the historic character of the district for the following reasons. The enclosure will be a 2-door wooden bin. Installation will be in front of the house, but will not be attached to the structure. Exterior treatment will be the mopboard black. Let's see, that would be the Benjamin Moore mopboard black number CW680 on the top, with the front and sides a gray stain showing the natural rain. The rain barrel will be installed near the front entryway and will resemble a wooden whiskey barrel, and existing gutters will be removed from above doorways to reduce visual impact. That this work will cause a material change to the external appearance of the property, that neither installation will detract from the character of the historic district, that any changes or additions to the plans or work specifically described and outlined in the submitted application will be subject to further review by our commission prior to that work being carried out, that this commission's approval does not obviate the need for a building permit from the City of Kingston's Building Safety Division or any other required approval from relevant coordinating agencies. Based on the preceding findings of fact, I move that as of this 7th day of October 2021, that our commission grant a preservation notice of action to the above referenced applicant for the work described herein, and in his application to the commission, such notice subject to the conditions contained in the foregoing motion. Do I have a second?
Andrea
Second.
Pugh, second.
Wow, that was a race. I'm going to give it to Kevin. Thank you. I'll call the roll. Andrea,
Aye.
Kevin,
Aye.
Hayes.
Aye.
I also vote in the affirmative. Thank you, Jed. Again,
Great, thank
welcome
you.
back.
Thank you. Good to be back.
And I look forward to seeing you on Green Street.
Yes, I'll see you there.
All righty.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Sue, should we just continue with our last bit of business and log out, or do you want me to hang in for Hayes to do his
Well,
commission as well?
I sent a note to Dean. I have not heard anything back from him. I mean, he's showing up on the screen, so I'm not sure what the connection problem is. If you want to, it looks like he's trying to log in, but
All right, then I'll leave that to you and we'll move to a discussion of the historic tax.
Yeah,
credit.
Let's finish up with the landmarks business.
All right. Has everyone had a chance to review the letter? The Trust for Historic Preservation is asking for our support by signing on essentially to their letter as written in support of an expansion of the historic preservation tax credit. Has everyone had a chance to review that? Is there any discussion? From my perspective, I think it's an excellent idea that we go on record with them supporting it. Sue, do we do it as a commission or do we do it individually?
As a commission, I think would be stronger.
All right, then if there's no further discussion, I'm going to move that we sign on as a commission to the letter as proposed by the Trust for Historic Preservation.
Second.
Thank you, Hayes, for the second. I'll call the roll unless there's any additional discussion, and seeing none. Andrea.
Aye.
Kevin.
Aye.
Hayes.
Aye.
I also vote in the affirmative, and I think that concludes our business. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you, Hayes. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Andrea. I'll call the roll. Andrea.
Aye.
Kevin.
Aye.
Hayes.
Aye.
I also vote in the affirmative. So I believe we are done here tonight.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Oops. Have I s-
Landmarks is done, and Dean is just, landmarks is done, so heritage will start now.
Okay, I just
All
wanted
right.
sorry to jump in.
No, I wasn't sure why, but now I know. All right. Good night, all.
Good night, Mark.
Bye, Mark.
So we still need a visible and audible Dean before we have a quorum.
He just tried to sign in again. I just admitted him again, so let's give him a second.
If that doesn't work, maybe he can call in. He can try using the phone number.
Yeah, that's
I
a
don't
good
know if he
idea.
can hear us right now.
It's on again.
Dean?
He unmuted.
Yeah, Dean, he's
Okay.
connecting to audio. Okay, let's see if it works.
Dean, can you unmute?
Yes, I can.
All right.
I
Dean?
was traveling. I was on my phone.
Okay, so we have Dean with us now.
Dean, I think you have to, can you shut down the other one? That's, I think, why we're getting this echo. You're on twice.
Yeah, I'm trying. Okay.
And legally, does he have to be visible, Dan?
No, he does not.
Okay. Seeing as we now have, oh, there he is. Thank you. Thank you, Dean. Seeing as how we now have a quorum, I'm going to call to order the October 7th, 2021 meeting of the Heritage Area Commission of the City of Kingston. I'm Hayes Clement. I'll acknowledge our other members here. Bonnie Howland, if you'll raise your hand, Bonnie. Kevin McAvoy and Dean Barnes. Thanks for joining us. First order of business is the adoption of the minutes of our September 2nd, 2021 meeting. Has everyone had a chance to look at those? Are there any questions or corrections to be made to the minutes as presented? Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes as presented for our September 2nd meeting?
Dean Barnes, so moved.
Thank you, Dean. Do I hear a second?
Bonnie Howland, second.
Thank you, Bonnie. Motion on the floor. Any further discussion or debate? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I vote aye. Kevin McAvoy,
Aye.
Bonnie Howland,
Aye.
Dean Barnes.
Aye.
We have the next order of business. We have the opportunity to make an advisory opinion on 95 John Street, the painting and reclabbering project as described earlier to the HLPC. Dean, you weren't here for that. Do you have an opinion as to whether we should give an advisory opinion or not?
I can see the opinion to the HLPC.
Do I hear a motion to refrain from giving an advisory opinion on the paint job and clapboard replacement at 95 John Street? Since Dean wasn't really here to hear that.
I was listening in on the phone. I just didn't have, I didn't have video.
So Bonnie, you've made a motion to refrain from giving advisory opinion. I'll make a
Motion
second.
by Bonnie, yes.
I'll make a second to that. That motion's on the floor. Any debate on it? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I vote aye. Bonnie Howland,
Aye.
Kevin McAvoy,
Aye.
Dean Barnes.
Aye.
Next order of business is 135 Green Street, an application to install a cedar garbage enclosure and wooden rain barrel in the front of the Colonel Hasbrook house. Most of us, I think all of us heard that. Do I hear a motion to refrain from giving an advisory opinion in that matter?
Motion by Bonnie Howland.
Motion by Bonnie. Do I hear a second?
Second by Dean
Second.
Barnes.
Second by Dean Barnes. Motion on the floor. Any further debate? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I vote aye. Bonnie Howland,
Aye.
Kevin McAvoy,
Aye.
Dean Barnes.
Aye.
All right, the following are HAC applications. The first is 25 Bruin Street, an application to renovate the front porch and paint the house. Louis Nacarado, applicant owner. Louis, do you want to walk us through what you want to do here?
Hi, sure. Thank you for having me tonight. I just wanted to basically redo the front porch because it was falling apart, frankly. So I just rebuilding it and wanted to put it back to the way it was, maybe make some improvements on it. The appearance is pretty much going to be the same. I'd potentially willing to put more detail in the upper portion and maybe even the railings.
So what's going to change from the existing facade
Lou,
appearance?
you had talked about possibly changing paint colors as well. Do you have any thoughts on that at this time, or?
Yeah, if the weather permits, I'd like to still get it done. If not, it'll definitely be in the spring. But I did choose some colors I submitted.
Yeah, they should be. Kyla, can you pull them up?
Yeah, it's going to be like a messenger bag. It's like a green color with a white trim. Let's say Sherwin-Williams paint code.
Sherwin-Williams SW 7740.
Correct.
And that's indeed the color.
Yeah.
So that would be the field, the siding, and then the trim would be white.
The trim would be white, correct.
So what's this about Swiss coffee?
That's a version of white that I'd like. I've painted the inside of my house trim with that.
Okay.
In some of the rooms.
Can you show that, Kyla? Benjamin Moore, Swiss Coffee.
It's more of a muted white,
Right.
classier than the bright white.
But the spindles, everything on the railing, all the porch is going to be the same.
Correct.
Okay.
I think that's
Almost.
gonna look really nice.
Yeah, I'm also open to, any ideas. I found pictures of the house years ago, and there were a few designs on the top, because my grandparents had lived here in the 50s, which I don't know how long ago that those were taken away. They're probably rotted or something, I'm guessing. I don't have a,
You're talking about the brackets on the columns, right, Lou?
right on the upper,
Yeah.
well, the lower porch, but on the columns on the top, there were a few details years ago in the 50s, I believe, maybe even the 40s.
And the whole foundation color is going to be that messenger.
Yeah,
Okay.
correct. Or a stone. It could be a stone color as well to make it go away. Like I said, I'm open to options if someone has better ideas.
Anyone have any further questions or any concerns for Lou?
I like the messenger bag color myself with that trim. I think you've chosen nicely.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
I think it's a good plan.
Yeah.
Do I hear a motion to declare this a type 2 action under seeker?
Motion by Bonnie Howland.
Do I hear a second? Second by Dean Barnes. Thank you. That motion's on the floor. Any further debate? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I vote aye. Bonnie Howland.
Aye.
Kevin McAvoy.
Aye.
Dean Barnes.
Aye.
Do I hear a motion to approve the front porch renovation scheme and house repainting scheme for 25 of Broome
Okay.
Street using messenger bag, Sherwin-Williams SW7740 and a satin finish
Could be maybe.
for the clapboard and either
Yeah.
Benjamin Moore Swiss Coffee OC45 or Sherwin-Williams Extra White SW7006 for the trim.
I don't think so.
Dean Barnes, so moved.
Wait,
Dean
but
Barnes,
I
do I
can
hear
get
a
back.
second? Do I hear a
Second
second?
by Bonnie Howland. Kevin, I think you have to mute. Oh, there you go. He did.
Yeah,
That motion- Kevin,
yeah, the video, the muting, all of it. Yep. Okay.
All right, so
Yeah.
that motion's on the floor. Any further debate? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I vote aye. Bonnie Howland,
Aye.
Dean Barnes,
Aye.
Kevin McAvoy.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Thank you, Louis.
Thank you.
Congratulations. It looks great. Next applicant is for 221 or 223 to 225 Catherine Street, an application to construct a single-family home. Timothy Wiedemann and Cheryl DeMuth are the applicants and owners. Tim, are you here? Oh, Cheryl, you're here.
Carol is.
I am.
Hmm.
Is Tim joining us, or you're going to lead us through it?
I'm gonna try. Tim is a lot more versed in this stuff than I am, obviously. So, but he had to go to a legislature meeting tonight.
No
So
problem. Why don't you walk us through what you're planning to do? We have the schematic of it.
great. Okay, so we're essentially building a house for ourselves. Really, I mean, it's a modern house. The garage is going to be on the bottom. The first floor is going to be the bedrooms. Second floor will be the living space. I don't know. There's not much else to say, I guess.
Who's the architect, Cheryl?
Our designer is Russell Krychek. We're working with an engineer, but I don't remember which firm it is. So,
Sue, in terms of, density, height, setbacks, square footage, this passes muster with the planning department?
There was a concern about a setback, which I discussed verbally with Tim when he stopped in the office one day. So I think what would have to happen is the zoning enforcement officer would have to review the final set of plans to make sure that it meets all lot and bulk requirements. There was a question on how the front yard setback was measured, and Tim had a different understanding of it than I did. And so when I explained it to him, he didn't think it was going to be an issue with him, just pushing it back a little bit to meet that setback. So if not, then they would have to apply for a variance if they wanted to keep it more in line with other structures along the street. So we talked about that, and he's aware of that.
Okay. Anyone have any questions or concerns for the applicant? I personally like it a lot. It's great to see people doing some ambitious contemporary architecture down there.
Yeah, we're excited for it. I do want to actually just mention we are aiming to use a natural palette, which would include unstained cedar plank siding, ipe or mahogany decking, and galvanized standing seam metal roof. Foundation exterior will either be cement board or brick stone veneer. And in terms of energy efficiency, renewable energy, we're working to incorporate passive house principles, but we aren't planning to seek passive house certification, just a high performance building that strives to exceed current code requirements for air tightness, insulation, and HVAC. Likely to have radiant slabs on the first and second floor, augmented with air source heat pumps for cooling and supplemental heat. Fresh air exchange will be handled with an energy recovery ventilation system. And if the budget allows, we would like to do solar panels on the roof, which will be angled to the southwest to maximize solar gain. And the landscaping will also incorporate native species and be designed for drought tolerance.
Cheryl, could I ask you just to submit that to me via email, just so I can put it in the file as part of the record?
Yeah.
That would be great. Thank you so much. I think that answered a lot of the questions that we had actually in our notes.
Our role here is to give an advisory opinion. So I would assume, Sue, that no one needs to come back to us with specific paint colors or the solar panel options at a later time, right?
No, she's mentioned that all, now within that statement. So unless you have a question about it, a specific question about it, it would be presumed that that's part of their overall project scope.
Yeah. Anybody have any concerns or questions for Cheryl?
Yeah, Cheryl, I have one question. It looks like you've raised the house, like the living area, and I think you're just out of the FEMA flood zone. But are you accounting for sea level rise in case it gets? Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought would be the case. Yeah.
Yep. No, we did.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Any other questions? Do I hear a motion to declare this a type 2 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act?
Dean Barnes, so moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second by Bonnie Howland.
Thank you. That motion's on the floor. Any debate on declaring this a type 2 action? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I vote aye. Bonnie Howland?
Aye.
Kevin McAvoy?
Aye.
Dean Barnes?
Aye.
Second, do I hear a motion to endorse the construction and design plan for a single-family house at 221 Catherine Street as presented?
Dean Barnes, so moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second?
Second by Kevin McAvoy. That motion's on the floor. Any debate?
I just have one other question. Sue, this maybe for you or Kyla would be, is there a lot line adjustment or a merging of lot lines on this one?
There was, we're trying to figure that out. If
Okay.
there is,
Okay, you're
we'll
on the
work
case.
with them. I'm leaning towards no, but we threw that in as a possibility. We're not
Okay.
sure. We have to talk to the assessor, and that's something that Cheryl, you and I and Tim and we can get together and look at that a little more in depth.
But that's a
Okay.
planning board decision.
Yeah,
regardless.
that's out of our, I was just I just noticed that it was 2 lots, when I was
Right.
looking at the FEMA map, I was like, oh, yeah, right, okay. So,
Can I
okay.
ask, is that something that we can choose not to do, or would we be required to do for some reason?
It
Or-
depends on where that line falls. That's the question, is where that line falls with where you want to place the house on the property.
Okay.
Okay, so there's a duly made and seconded motion on the floor to endorse the design plan for 221 Catherine Street as presented. Any further debate? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I enthusiastically vote aye. Bonnie Howland,
I too enthusiastically vote aye.
Kevin McAvoy,
I'll third that, yes, enthusiastically vote aye.
and Dean Barnes.
I exuberantly vote aye.
Thank you, Cheryl. You did great.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great
Hey,
evening.
Cheryl.
You
Have a
too.
good night.
You
Yeah.
too.
All right. The next order of business is 128 West Pierpont Street, an application for a roof-mounted solar array. Jonathan Warnow, applicant and owner. Jonathan, are you here with us?
Yes.
My name is Richard Countryman, and I'm representing Mr. Warnow from
Okay.
Solar Generation.
Great. Thank you, Richard, for being here.
My pleasure.
You sort of walk us through what you're doing?
Sure thing. So we plan on doing a roof-mounted solar installation consisting of 11 panels, which are black on black to be as neutral as possible. They would be on the right side of the roof from this image, which is southwest facing. Here you can kind of see part of the roof plane. On the back right corner of the building, there is a flat roof section. We're not going to be putting anything on that. It would just be on the sloped section of the roof that you can see here in this image on the kind of left corner.
What's that?
Kyla, just for Kyla, there's 2 components here. This is the AC unit one, which would be the next discussion. Can you pull up the other? Yeah, that one. Thank you. And then I think you might see the solar. There you go, more clearly.
Yep, so there's parts of the building that I did not draw because they weren't being utilized, such as that flat roof. But that's the layout. And the house behind it already does have solar as well, for the record.
Hmm.
Well, the side of the house, so it's this side with the image up now, it's that roof plane that's.
No, it's the uphill side, the other side.
Okay.
Right
So
there.
that will be a little more, that will be visible from like the Montrepose intersection, all of that.
Yeah, when you're coming down the hill, you will see it.
Yeah. Anyone have any questions for Richard or concerns? So we want to take this two items, the AC and the solar separately, Sue, or combine it all?
Right. The solar was the original application. They contacted us this morning with regards to the installation of the exterior AC condensing units. So that's new. And
Let's talk through that and make it all one motion.
Okay.
Yeah. So take, Richard, are you going to speak to that too? The
No, I'm only doing the solar aspect.
Okay.
I think Noah might be on the line.
That's correct. Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, I'd be happy to talk about these. Thanks for squeezing it on the agenda tonight. So they're not only AC units, they're mini splits, so they're going to do heating and cooling. These are going to be the primary source of heat for the house, so they can utilize the solar and get off fossil fuels. And there's going to be 4 units in total, 2 units that heat and cool the downstairs, 2 units that heat and cool the upstairs. And the images show where the company we're working with, Rycor. By the way, I'm the contractor on the remodel project. Sorry, I didn't say that out front. But
is this a 2-family or a single family?
It was a 2-family. It's being converted back to a single family.
Gotcha. Okay.
So the drawings here submitted by Rycor, who's the company based out of New Paltz that we're working with, show where they thought best to locate the 4 outside condenser units, which are, I don't know if they submitted a picture with them, but they're about the footprint that they delineated in the pictures there. And then the lines leading down to them are going to be power and a drain line so that the units can operate.
Right. Kyla, if you scroll down, I think the last couple of pages are there's the unit. That's one of the units.
But that's the condenser box that's going to be mounted on the side below the
Correct.
pipe.
Yes, the top one is the interior component, but the lower piece, that's what you will see on the exterior. So on the one side, the uphill side, where we were just talking about them putting the solar panels on the roof, there'll be 3 of them mounted against the building. And on the downhill side of the building, there's one of them mounted against the building. And then of course the associated piping.
On the uphill side, where there are going to be 3 of these, according to the diagram, Jonathan, are you willing to put some shrubbery or screening vegetation in to at least block the view of the condenser?
Yeah, hey everybody, this is John, the homeowner. Absolutely, we're kind of thinking through the landscaping options, but we're really open to pursuing ways to kind of hide it with shrubbery or maybe even fencing or something like that. But we haven't totally got that sorted out yet.
And you're gonna, if the vent piping and the condensers are white, you're gonna leave the clabbered white?
That's right, yeah.
It reads the same, okay. Anybody else have questions for the applicant? Anyone have issues? Do I hear a motion to declare this a type 2 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act?
Barnes, so moved.
Dean Barnes moved. Do I hear a second?
Second by Bonnie Howland.
Thank you, Bonnie. That motion's on the floor. Any debate on that? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I vote aye. Bonnie Howland.
Aye.
Dean Barnes.
Aye.
Kevin McAvoy.
Aye.
Do I hear a motion to approve the plan for 4 HVAC split units and a solar array at 128 West Pierpont Street as presented, with the proviso that appropriate vegetation is planted on the uphill side to disguise the condensers?
Motion by Bonnie Howland.
Second by Dean Barnes.
Second by Dean Barnes. Thank you, guys. That motion's on the floor. Any further debate on that? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I vote aye. Bonnie Howland.
Aye.
Dean Barnes. Didn't hear you, Dean.
Dean, you're muted, Dean.
Aye.
Thank you.
Kevin McAvoy.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Thank you, John.
Thanks very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Sue, do you need us to sign on to this Preservation League letter or no?
No, that is for landmarks.
All right, the next item, we have a coastal consistency review for the Hudson Cliff State Park. Has everyone had a chance to review the draft coastal consistency review?
Yes.
Does anyone have any comment or questions or need for elaboration on the planning department staff's recommended responses on the coastal consistency review for Hudson Cliff State Park?
No.
Dean, Kevin,
Nope.
do I hear a motion to accept the planning department staff's recommended responses on the coastal consistency review for Hudson Cliff State Park?
Motion by Bonnie Howland.
Do I hear a second?
Oh.
Is there a
No,
second?
okay, I'll second it. I thought Dean was gonna do it. Sorry.
Second by Kevin McAvoy, thank you. That motion is on the floor. Is there any further debate on that?
Mm-mm.
Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I vote aye. Bonnie Howland,
Aye.
Dean Barnes,
I heard,
Okay.
yeah.
Kevin McAvoy.
Aye.
The ayes have it. All right, our next joint meeting is scheduled for November 4th. I hope I'll see you all there. No other business, Sue?
No, I just need a motion to adjourn, if you would, please.
Motion to adjourn. Do I hear a second? Second by Dean Barnes. Any debate on that? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. I'm Hayes Clement. I vote aye. Bonnie Howland,
Aye.
Dean Barnes,
Aye.
Kevin McAvoy.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. We are adjourned.
One
Dan,
thing before everybody disappears, I think the Dover Coal first charrette starts on November 4th, just to be aware of that. I don't know if the time conflicts or we haven't seen a time on that yet, but just to be aware of it.
Okay, I think they were planning on having like sessions in the daytime and in the evening. I will find that out.
Yeah.
And if need be, yeah, we should take that into consideration. But I'll let you know on that. And Kevin, also, if you can give me a call tomorrow, both the grants, I
Yeah.
should mention this at Landmarks. They've been obviously signed and approved, and we've got to start working on the RFPs now. So I've started drafting one for this. We got one for an intensive level survey of the Wilbur and Pankaki area. And we also got one to do research on the Pine Street burial grounds and some other study of African-American history in Kingston. So 2 good grants moving forward.
Yep. Okay.
So
So
tomorrow.
any time that works better than
Just give me a shout. I'll make it work.
okay, we'll do.
If I have anything really scheduled. Okay.
Sounds good. Okay,
Thank
tomorrow.
you,
then.
everybody. We're
Okay.
adjourned.
Yeah.
See you next
Okay.
Bye, everybody.